everyone, and welcome to Coffee Chat with Seismic. My name is Kaylin, and I'm the Field Marketing Manager based out of San Diego. These chats will give you a sense of how our collective community is adapting to the evolving business environment. Today, I'll be speaking with Prseetha Pettigrew, Seismic's VP of Strategic Alliances, who is based in London, about her experience leading a global sales team remotely. Before we kick off, the first question I have to ask is, Prseetha, what's your go-to morning beverage?
Oh, it's got to be coffee. It's always coffee for me, and nothing else is going to get me started for the day.
So tell us about your role at Seismic and why you love it.
So I manage a team of 9 partner managers across the globe, and our goal is to recruit and build out an ecosystem of partners who can help us drive more revenue for Seismic. I really love this role because there's so many elements to it. So every day is different. There's the recruitment and qualification of new partners. There's educating and training to get them all up and running. Then there's marketing activities with them to drive leads. And then there's analysis and reporting to figure out what's working and what needs adjusting. So there's just so many different things to do every day.
So you were leading a global team before COVID-19. Can you share the pro tips that have proven to be most useful?
Sure. Yeah, so when you're leading a global team, it's really important to stay connected. When you don't work in an office together, it can be harder to stay on top of what your team is doing. So I have weekly check-ins with everyone just to stay connected. And I also have my team write up a weekly report that documents the achievements that they've had from that past week and their plans for the week ahead. So this is a good way to keep track of what they're doing and helps really fuel our one-to-one conversations. I also think that process is really important. You need to have a consistent process and structures so that everyone is going in the same direction and so you can replicate what's working well across the wider team.
So what are the most important considerations when working with remote teams?
So I think there's a few things. To me, I would center them around remote awareness, communication, and celebrating success. So when I think about a remote awareness, you need to think about the different time zones and the cultures when you're managing global teams. You've got to be aware that where someone is within their day, whether they're an early riser, whether they're a late worker. And then in the current situation, you also have to be mindful of their personal situation, whether they're homeschooling kids, have family members to check in with, or perhaps they're living alone. Then concerns for their physical and mental well-being become even more important. And it's often necessary to think about adapting work schedules or focus areas to adjust to the challenges that people are finding right now. So, I might say to one of my team members, who I see is struggling, have you thought about breaking up your day in a different way? Maybe going out, blocking some time at lunchtime, going out, taking a walk. Or, instead of doing your gym workout first thing in the morning, maybe do some work first, then take a break, do your gym workout and come back so that you don't feel that there's this monotony or kind of very consistent routine just sat at your desk every day. I think I'm very lucky that my team are very aware that we're all operating in different time zones. So they don't expect an immediate response from me or anyone else. And actually, they're really great that they check in with me if they see I'm working too late and just making sure that I'm not doing too much. Thinking about team communication, that's also really important. So as I mentioned, I have one-on-ones with my team via video every week. And then we also do yearly business planning with everyone individually. And then we do quarterly reviews to see what's working and how they're tracking against progress. On a day-to-day basis, we keep in touch via Slack, texts, calls, or emails. And then we all come together for bi-weekly team meetings to review performance and to do general status updates. I also really try and encourage my team to work closely with each other and to try and avoid me being the central point of communication or a bottleneck to them. I want them to take an interest in what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is working on, and how that might help them. And this really helps them to really operate as a very strong team. And then my last piece is really about celebrating success. I like to do this during our one-on-ones, but also team meetings to recognize if someone has done something great or is worth sharing with the wider group. But I also do shout outs to the team on our Slack channel and encourage the rest of the team to do this too. Nothing says more than just a simple email with a thank you or a nice job, just to recognize a nice piece of performance or a nice piece of work that someone's done. So there are lots of different ways I think we can do this. But I suppose those are my 3 considerations: the remote awareness, communication, and how to celebrate success.
Yeah, I think those are really important points that you touched on. So as you know, Seismic is known as a company with really great culture. What do you miss most about office life?
Oh my God. I miss so many things about our office. And you're right, Seismic does have phenomenal culture. And I think I'm incredibly lucky to work in the London office, which has such a great team there. I really miss interacting with the wider team. You know, obviously I'm talking to the people that I'm interacting with on a work basis, but it's all those other people that you have social relationships with. So, you know, I miss Friday afternoon chats about plans for the weekend or the Monday morning debrief, having lunch with co-workers that you don't normally work with day to day, or just stopping by someone's desk to have a 5-minute question that doesn't need a Zoom call.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So what are some best practices that you think any global leader should be emanating at this time?
I think open, honest communication is key, in my opinion. And Doug Winter, our CEO, sets a really high bar here. He's been an outstanding communicator to the whole company, really setting out the company's plan to get us through this period, but reiterating that at every point that Seismic's employees and their families are the number one priority. This sets the tone for communication that each of us have with our teams, but also across departments, with our partners and with our customers.
What are the positive things from a team culture standpoint that you think will come out of COVID-19?
I've learned so much more about my team and vice versa during COVID-19. We hopefully understand each other a bit better on a personal level, as well as a work one, and I hope that helps our long-term working relationship. In the current environment, it's suddenly much more acceptable to ask people some personal questions. You know, as we're sat here in our offices or our kitchens or our front rooms or wherever we are, it becomes the norm to comment if someone's child comes in to ask a question, or if the doorbell rings and there's a delivery coming. And I think it helps us to understand the day-to-day challenges that each of our team members are having and how we can support them through that. So I think that becomes really important for me.
Yeah, absolutely. What are the two things people should be keeping in mind right now to ensure they are the transformative leader that their organization needs?
Well, I think the first one is really to be respectful and be aware of the challenging situations that people are working in. While I know that there's a day-to-day job that needs to get done, there are a lot of reasons why this isn't an easy thing to do right now. And I think being respectful and you know, supporting people through the situation is incredibly important. And then I think also understanding that resources and budgets may be constrained. So thinking about how that might impact their plans. I think the flip side of this is that solutions like Seismic can help teams be more effective and efficient and can reduce internal costs by allowing organizations to streamline their systems and reduce overheads. So, you know, it's also an opportunity to really think seriously about why now with Seismic.
Yeah, so that's actually a perfect segue into my next question. So what technology has been the most impactful with your team while working from home?
So I've been onboarding 4 new team members during this time. So Zoom has been a player in my interactions with them. Being able to get onto a video call and build a relationship with new team members is vital to helping them integrate more effectively and helping them to really feel that they're part of a team and not just on the end of a phone feeling very isolated. I also use Seismic a lot. All our onboarding materials are stored in there. And by using Live Send within Seismic, I can track what material each of those new people has reviewed so that I can help monitor their progress against the plan and make adjustments as necessary to help support them in getting up and running. And then across the wider team, we do use Seismic extensively, but we also find that Slack is great for team chats and one-to-ones and quick questions. But we're also using a lot of our partner technology, such as Lessonly for internal sales training and Intro Hive for managing our meetings, activities, and contacts. So I think, you know, the work our partners is doing is really helping us too.
That's great. So before signing off, I'd like to ask you just a quick couple rapid fire questions. So are you ready?
Go for it.
So tell me, what are your sanity breaks?
Oh, great question. I guess when I need a break, I tend to head to my husband's office downstairs for a quick chat or just to take my mind off things.
What podcasts are you listening to or what books are you currently reading?
I'd love to say I was doing more reading, but right now it's just not on my agenda. But I am listening to a lot of podcasts. They are all a little UK focused, so I don't know if you've heard of them, but I love The High Low for UK pop culture, and this gives great reviews and recommendations on books, TV, and other shows that I might want to be watching. I also love Elizabeth Day's How to Fail. She has some great people on her podcast and some great tips on surviving the current situation. And then Ecosystem Aces is one I've been listening to for tips on channel programs, and I was lucky enough to do a slot for them recently too.
What shows have you binge watched recently?
The Stranger and Altered Carbon, and also we're right in the middle of Ozark right now.
So final question, what's your favorite guilty pleasure?
Oh, I didn't have that question.
maybe you're gardening, or maybe you're cooking, or maybe you have.
Oh, I know. Yes. Well, I feel that I am supporting the economy by continuing the retail therapy, and I am a very avid online shopper. So yeah, that's my guilty pleasure.
Love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Prseetha. And thank you so much, everyone. Make sure you tune into our next coffee chat with Seismic's VP of Corporate Marketing, Bill Finnegan.